Guys, welcome back to another episode of Pierce's Wildlife Podcast.
Welcome, welcome.
We got Mr. Brett Upson on tonight. It's going to be a fun episode. How you doing tonight, Mr. Brett?
Doing good. Happy to be here. Thank y'all for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Welcome, Brett.
We've been looking forward to it. We've definitely got some things we're excited for you to talk about and tell us about. Quite the entrepreneur and hard worker. Pretty big deal around us, and we thank you for all you do and your main job being a GBI.
That's right.
Well, I appreciate it and enjoy helping where I can, and just being a friend and being able to do fun things and have everybody enjoy them with me.
Yeah, right. That's cool. So you do shade tree event rentals.
Yep.
You do rental properties.
We do shade tree event rentals. Ashley and I have that. We've had it for going on almost 4 years now. We bought that right after COVID and have been running that, her and I, and then we got 3 or 4 guys that work for us that handle that part of it, but it's more Ashley now. She's the customer service guru, and I'm more of where a tent can go and where it can't go.
Right.
And so she has to handle all that for us on that. But had rental houses over in LaGrange. Me and another partner had those and sold those, and that's what kind of allowed us to do the shade tree and open things up and not have to worry about going, an hour and 15 minutes, change a light bulb in a rental house. So
that's great. So you've been with GBI how long?
12 years now.
And you're training now.
Yep. So started out, policed here in Griffin for 2 years, and then went to GBI, and I was in Americus, Georgia as a crime scene technician for 4 years. Went to the NFA, to the body farm, all that stuff to learn about, decomp and working a crime scene and all that with a dead body. It's gruesome to some, but, it's got to be done. It's part of the job.
That's right.
Spent 4 years down in Americus, then got to come back home. I started living in Griffin again and transferred to a narcotics office out of Carrollton, Georgia. And we basically worked the middle of the state, all the way from North Atlanta to Stewart County, Georgia. I mean, so it's a big span. Worked narcotics in that area for 4 years, and then have now been in the training unit almost 4 years.
Wow.
So don't necessarily get to work cases anymore. Do get to enjoy still the policing aspect of it with a warrant service team. But yes, so I'm in charge of all the advanced training through the Bureau. And so any time an agent is done with basic agent school and they have in-service training, firearms, driving, use of force, or anything like that, I either coordinate or instruct all that for every agent in the state.
That is incredible.
Wow. Appreciate you.
I mean, that's cool. Like for him to be able to train.
Yes.
I mean, that's a big deal.
It is
like you're training these guys how to do the stuff.
Well, we got a lot of good instructors around us, and I was trained by some of the best. It's more of a coordination thing as well, and just learning from all the different people around us. We have so many great agents. You just learn from them and soak it up, and sometimes you just let them take the charge and train with you. You're only as good as you want to be, and when you get people that are better than you, it's just no better way than just to sit back and watch and listen.
Yeah,
you never know
that's
what you might learn.
Pretty good way to look at it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
So how long do you think you see yourself with GBI, if you want to even say that?
Well, I don't know. We'll see where the Lord takes me. Pension wise, another 12 years.
Right.
Get your 24, 25 years, and then you'll have 3 years of leave built up at that point.
Nice.
Some retirement stuff changes, and you got some retention issues there, and keep around, and maybe it shortens the time a little bit. But we'll see how that goes. Who knows? I've had aspirations and dreams of running for sheriff here in the county, but I have all due respect for Daryl Dix and everything that he's done, and I've always said that I wouldn't run against him.
Right. He
was a supervisor to me at Griffin PD when I was there, and I just respect the job he's doing and would never step on any toes like that. But, if that is what the Lord leads me to do, then I'll do it, and the family thing's right. But right now, I'm set and enjoying life and being able to be a part of my family all the time and being able to be there with the kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's so important.
Yep.
Because sometimes we get so wrapped up in work and kind of miss some things.
Oh yeah.
It is.
And that's a good balance, sounds like.
It's just I'm in a good spot right now. Back when I worked crime scene and everything, it didn't matter if you had a kid's birthday or a special event or whatever. If the phone rang, you went.
Right.
And there was no questions about it unless you were just like deathly ill.
Right.
You roll, and it could be 2 to 3 days before you got back home. So that was just, part of the job, and love that part. But I'm also glad that I'm in the training part with it now.
So we're going to talk about two specific things tonight. One being the hunting club Crossroad here. There's quite a people who's like curious about that place. Like I've heard people like bring that up. Wait, are y'all talking about over there off West Ellis where that, the duck hole is? And everyone wants to know a little something about that place. What can you tell us that's not too much?
I've been hunting that hole, man, I don't know. I was maybe 7, 8, 9 years old.
Wow.
That I've been hunting over there. In the beginning, we didn't have any ownership. We, leased it from somebody else. But that hole has been the duck hunting spot of Spalding County forever.
It has.
Absolutely.
You talk to like older gentlemen in the community, and they all have a story about it. And it wasn't just, back then, it wasn't just like your wood ducks. I mean, you got anything in the world in there. For a while, when we first got it, we had a couple good years there, and then the ducks were just gone. I mean, you would stand out there weekdays, weekends, hours on hours, and may see a fly over.
Like a bird or two, or
like a bird or two.
Wow.
Maybe.
That's crazy.
And I can't tell you how many times in middle school and high school we would trudge out there in the middle of that swamp and just sit there. And if they had waterproof cameras by then, we'd probably not be worrying about this because of the jokes and stuff that we did out there that would just have won America's Funniest Home Videos forever, just killing time. That all changed after the tornadoes that came through here. When that came through, it changed the whole landscape of our property over there. It knocked down more trees than you could shake a stick at, obviously.
Right.
And for some reason, the ducks just started flowing back in there. Now, it's more of just a wood duck hole now, but you get your migrators in there at the cold times of the year. Mm-hmm. Still get mallards and ringnecks and teal and everything during the strong migration period, but it's mainly just a wood duck hole now. But man, for us to be able to go out there, and there's 10 or 11 of us that steadily hunt, all the time over there, and cook breakfast and just hang out and tell stories and tell the same jokes for 11 years in a row. It's just a fun time, and I got my son into it. My little girl, it's only a matter of time before she's out there.
Oh, she'll be hooked.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She's hooked on anything that has a pump of adrenaline and any loud noise that you can do.
Now, she was at a dove shoot with y'all. I remember seeing some pictures of her with y'all dove shoot.
Yeah. So I've taken her dove hunting, loves it. Loves to go out there and pick up the birds, shells, anything you can do. She's a sport. Main thing that got me into duck hunting is when I first got on the police department, I got a dog, and I got a black lab.
There you go.
She's 14 now. She's on borrowed time, had a bunch of health issues a couple years ago, but she's good, and I'll still take her out there, and she's good for about 1 or 2 retrieves, and you just got to make her sit there because her hips are so bad and everything. Yeah. But you leave her at the house, when she knows you're gone, she's tearing something up.
Uh-oh.
She's mad.
She's going to be upset.
And that's about the only time she really tears something up, unless it's food that's in her nose. But, but if you go hunting and she knows when you're going hunting, she will wreak havoc.
Wow.
And
it's funny how dogs pick up on that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I've had her for 14 years now.
That's pretty wild. So what kind of birds do y'all shoot off there now? Do y'all just shoot ringnecks, wood ducks, and mallards?
It's just mostly woodies and your occasional mallards and everything. Had a spoon last year.
Really?
Yeah, there was a spoonie that was in with a group of mallards. Back a long time ago, we were hunting one day, and there was a black duck that was killed out there.
Really?
Yep.
A black duck?
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yep.
I didn't even know black ducks were killed around here.
Yep. It was in with a group of mallards, and it, wasn't a mallard. But yeah, it was black duck.
Wow. So back in the day, like when you said there was a bunch of birds, like a bunch of different varieties, like what was killed back in the day?
You hear stories of pintails that were killed in there. I mean, literally anything. They would hit that Flint River, and I don't know what it was about that place, but if they were traveling down the Flint, they
were coming.
They were coming.
Wow. Now, Dad, you had when he mentioned the old timers around here that all had a story about that. Do you have a story about that place?
Well, yeah, because I was a kid, and we used to tromp around in the swamp back there behind it, and we'd go to Wildcat Creek back there and just walk around. We'd cross over in there sometimes, but we always were like, "You can't go over there. You can't go over there. That's private property over there." And we followed the rules as kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd vary off, and we didn't know. I wonder if we're on the wrong property.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about 7, 8, 9 years old when we was running around. But we used to hunt ducks around here every once in a while too. But a lot of them were pets. I mean, we raised them around on the ponds. But Woody's wasn't. We talked about this in an episode or two before in the past. But Woody's wasn't seen a lot around here. What we seen around here most of the time was mallards. We seen a lot of mallards and stuff. Now, I didn't know the different species of ducks like I do now. So if I seen something other than a mallard, I might have seen that's a weird looking duck. But that was fun.
But it's funny you say that. The pets on the backside of Wildcat Creek, you'll be standing there in the mornings and you just hear this mallard hen just crank off, and she will sit there and yell, and you're like, "Oh man, where are the mallards?"
We're getting some mallards.
You hear it, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Dang, pet done got us again."
Now that little house that's right
hilarious.
across from the big lake on Moon, that little bitty pond right beside Wildcat Creek, and it's like an old rundown trailer. It's got a little.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, wooden deck falling over.
There's mallards in there randomly during the season.
So
I think
is that what you're talking
about? There's
about?
a pet.
There's a
mallard
pet
in there, and it will literally just whack it. I mean, just all morning. You're like,
so they're helping you.
Yeah. And you're like, where are they at? And then it just never stops, and you're just looking up, and there's no bird.
There's no bird. Y'all kill any jewelry out there?
We have killed quite a few bands out there. One last season was on I believe it was a mallard hen that came in that one of our members' sons shot. But I've killed a couple bands out there. On Woody's, I've killed one on a green head, and I know that multiple other members and people that have hunted out there have killed jewelry out there. Cool. So,
where was the most unique piece y'all found?
It was on, if I remember correctly, it was on a mallard, and it was from Saskatchewan, Canada.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So that was
Isn't that amazing?
That is really
how
cool.
far those ducks fly in.
Yeah.
Only God can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
For sure.
And we used to have another spot on the other side of the county where we would, I'd tell you, for a good couple years, we killed a piece of jewelry on something over there every time. Woodies, mallards, and you're racing to it, especially when you're in a small hole. And you're like, "No, I shot it.
Yeah.
And you're like, you
And
pull it up, there's
happen.
nothing on there. Oh, you shot
Yeah,
that one.
you shot that one.
That's going to happen. It's going to happen. My duck.
Yeah.
Now, what about deer? Y'all deer hunt that?
So we would fiddle around with it, try to plant some food plots. Unfortunately, with that piece of property over there, we run into a good bit of poachers, and it started out with people coming over there and fishing on the pond, and then they get brave. And I mean, I've been over there multiple times and walked to a deer stand, and there's been somebody sitting in my deer stand.
Wow.
Now, I remember you telling me about that story.
Yeah. I got there a little late, but I knew that the spot that I was hunting was a late spot, that they were going to be coming in, later in the evening. And I walk up and I look, and there's Orange in the stand. And I'm like, "Who are you?" I didn't recognize him. Basically, he lowers his gun down. I take care of that, make sure we're not going to have any issues there. And I called the game warden, and comes out there. He ends up taking off on foot, and he forgets that I have his gun. And then
Wow.
comes back, and buddy, my game warden was there waiting for him, but he didn't ever come back. But multiple times we've run into problems out there, and the game wardens know about it, and they check it, I'd say, more than once or twice a week.
They're religiously running by there and checking on things.
Well, we even help keep an eye on it too, because
We appreciate it.
There's been a couple of times, like, remember we called you that Dad was you were driving over here one day, and there was a couple kids in a truck with a John boat out there trying to shoot ducks.
Yeah.
Well, now I live across the street, so it's going to be watching a lot more. So
we keep intact with the game wardens, and they come out there and check us, a few times during the season, and we're good with it. It helps us, and just trying to preserve that piece of property. I mean, it's been around for so long and been so good, for the sport of hunting and duck hunting and camaraderie and just everything that you would want out of a hunt with a group of guys and friends.
That's right.
Just for so many years.
I would call that place historic, man, honestly. I mean, it was there way before me, and I remember being out there as a kid, and I don't know how far it was back even further then.
You can see little, old blinds in that swamp that if you just know have been there forever.
If they could talk.
Yeah.
If they could talk.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just like old root systems where this moss was up and they built the blinds around it, and it's just old rotted wood. And I just would sit there and think to myself, man, I wish I could have hunted this thing when it was all put together.
Could you imagine?
It would have just been, I just picture folks out there in old Elmer Fudd hats,
right?
Just waiting for
what it was like years ago. I mean, seriously.
So before we move on, have y'all had any big deer killed out there?
My buddy Josh Pitts killed a big deer out there. It's been 4 or 5 years ago now. But like I said, we try to hunt that place and we try to dump the money into it and put corn out, and it just gets frustrating to have somebody else over there.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's more for, I'm older now, but it was more for all the dads to bring their kids out there.
Right.
And shoot a doe and, just to have fun hunting and shoot guns and this, that, and the other. And that's what it still is. I mean, some of us are, 28, some 23. I'm 37 now, but my dad and I go every single weekend.
Right.
And other people bring their sons out there every single weekend. And we've been doing it for 20 years now.
Right.
Over 20 years.
Right.
And just to know that we're still going to do it and to get to hang out with our dads and reminisce. And a lot of people have moved away now, but they come back, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and hunt. And, duck hunting in Georgia is hard along as it is, but when you do have a spot, it's a morning spot. You're out there, you shoot at daylight, you're done in 10 minutes.
Right.
And you got breakfast cooked, and you're done with that in an hour, and you're back home by 8:30.
Right, exactly.
And that's just the joy of having that spot here that we can go and enjoy all that and not have to drive 8 hours to do it.
Mississippi or
Like American Express said one time, it's priceless.
Yeah, it is priceless.
Time spent with your...
It is.
Yeah. So we've actually gotten to the point now where we literally will send out a group text, on a Wednesday night, who's hunting this weekend. And so will get the eggs, we'll get that, we'll get this, and we cook breakfast out there because we have the property all the way to the other side. And there's an old house that half of it got taken down by a tornado. So we took the slab part and basically turned it into a pavilion and an outdoor kitchen. And there's a couple rooms in the back, and there's a fireplace out front. But we cook on Dutch ovens out there.
Oh man!
So
I love a Dutch oven.
I told you we should have went.
We should have went. We're coming this year.
So Dutch oven, we cook biscuits and cinnamon rolls in the Dutch oven, then scramble the eggs on the stove and the bacon and everything, and just have a big old time.
Man, we're coming this year.
Come on.
So let's talk about the Griffin Cup.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give a backstory of the Griffin Cup. Finally, it got me into golfing. Okay, we played a little bit, but our first year is a shamble for people that don't know about the Griffin Cup, and I'm gonna let you just take off with it. It's a shamble, right?
Yep.
All right. So you both tee off, you take the best drive, and then from there you play your own ball in, and the lowest score you use that score as your whole score.
So much fun.
me and my brother-in-law. What you were supposed to play this year, but that was the year Mom did the robot and broke her leg.
Exactly right.
You couldn't make it.
Man, that stunk.
So we had to find another team last minute. So me and Zach played in this tournament our first year. It was 4 years ago, and we turned in a score of 107.
And thought y'all were,
and we thought we were doing great. And I remember specifically, and my buddy Jordan Pylan walks up to me and he's like, "Is that for real?"
Did he really? I could see him saying it too.
And we were just like, yeah. Well, it's now we're like competing for the win in our last flight, which is still high 80s. I think. but still, like,
yeah, but way
anyways,
further than what we were.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how bad we sucked then.
Man, I love it.
So the Griffin Cup, it's all for charity. Tell us a little bit about the charity and how it got started.
So in 2017, actually got started at Smoke on the Water.
Really? How about that?
So Stuart Watley and I were in a cooking competition, and we were down there cooking, had folks from Griffin come down and hang out, like Brent Cobb and them were playing. So there's a bunch of folks just hanging out at the camper. And my dad was a member of the Griffin Country Club back in the glory days of the Griffin Country Club when it was pristine, and we would have the member guest tournaments, and it was a highlight weekend for everybody around. And it was just so much fun. And I always wanted to bring that back because at the time the club had sold, been through a couple hands of ownership. It kind of fell off a little bit. And I just wanted to bring something back. But to do that, you have to have money to do that. And then there's got to be a cause because people aren't just going to come pay a bunch of money.
That's right.
And to put on an event to play golf. I reached out to Ashley. She was there. I had probably not seen or talked to Ashley in years.
So this is before y'all together.
This is well before we were even together.
Okay.
Wow.
And I said, do you want to do a charity event? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. She was all charity event. She did the dinner on the bridge in Spalding County and all that stuff.
I remember this.
So I was like, I need you to handle and help me with the charity part and the food and beverage. And I throw a golf part. And I think we can do some good for the community. And everybody can have fun doing it. And she's like, cool. And that was, I can't remember when Smoke on the Water was, but I believe it was like
Cold or
I
cool?
can tell you when we launched the tournament was in May.
Okay.
That's when we opened teams. The only reason I know that is because I saw some memories pop up not too long ago of the first year that we launched it on Facebook.
Okay.
Interesting.
So we launched the tournament in May, and we had it that next August in 2017.
The next August that
coming August.
Okay.
Basically 4 or 5 months.
Right.
Really, it was when we first got it going, it's 3 or 4 months that we planned it in. The first year, we had 40 teams, and we gave back $20,000.
The first year?
The first year.
Wow.
So it was, $10,000. $10,000 the first year. $5,000 to Boy Scouts, $5,000 to Caitlin's Promise that year, I believe. I could be wrong on that. May have been 20. I can't remember. Anyway, fast forward, it grew to 60. Then it grew to 64. And this will be the 9th year now. And we now have 80 teams.
Wow.
That's impressive.
So is there more teams this year than last year?
There is.
Holy cow.
There's 6 more teams. We had sponsors come in and like, we want in. And the way that the tee times break down and the flight breakdown, it's a lot, man. We start planning for this year in March. We had our first meeting in March for this year.
So when you say y'all had your first meeting, who all is on
in
that
the beginning? Ashley and I literally have to go lock ourselves in a room and say, what is the goal? What do we want to do? What do we need to change? What can be better? What was bad? And so we will literally write it all down, decide what we're going to do, and then what other sponsorships can we have? Because not everybody likes to play golf, right?
Right.
You have people in the community that want to be involved in this.
Some just want to hang out.
They want to hang
time
out
with everybody.
So we created some different sponsorships for it.
I did notice different sponsorships.
So just thinking outside the box, a Saturday night sponsor, scoreboard sponsor, a 19th hole sponsor. I mean, just ways that we can bring everybody in and still get the return for charity and be able to provide a product. We've really focused on, yes, it's a charity golf tournament and we want to give the most money back. But we also have to realize that some people, and it's not cheap. It's not cheap to play in anymore. I mean, we started out at $400 for a team. Now the minimum team that gets in is $1,000.
Right.
And that's a big difference. And that's sometimes it's a stronghold on folks to be able to play and be a part of it. And I understand that. And I don't want to put anybody out. But at the end of the day, it is how much money can we provide back to this community?
Right.
And when we do that, when we pick our charities, some of them even have an MOU of where they can spend that money.
Right.
Right.
And it can't just go to some national dues or pay for national advertising. It has to stay within the community. So we've changed sponsors charities a few times and everything, but it's just grown so big to, the first Friday night dinner we had was, 100 people.
Right.
Now we are having to cut it off at, don't want to give the exact number for fire marshal reasons, but
right.
We have a lot more than we should have up under a roof, but you don't want to turn these people away because they're trying to do just what we're doing and give back and have a good time.
That's right.
I mean, then it forms into, we had to form a golf committee. We had to form a food and beverage committee. We had to form a volunteer committee. Any committee that was a part of that tournament, because we just couldn't do it on our own.
Right. I could imagine, honestly.
That's a lot, dude.
Still to this day, Ashley and I design every piece of marketing. We print every single piece of paper. We type up every single, rule sheet and everything, just because it's on a jump drive. And I've made jokes. I said, one, if I ever win it, I'm done. And 2, 10 years, somebody's coming to get this jump drive because we're done. We'll help. But it's
started something really good.
It's a lot.
Absolutely.
But we love doing it, and we love watching everybody have a good time. But the best part is writing the checks at the end.
Oh,
that's one of my favorite parts too. But you weren't talking about that.
Yeah, we're talking about those checks.
It gives me chills.
So,
see y'all do that.
How many checks did you write out to charities last year, and how much did you get back last year?
So last year we had a Boy Scout is one of our charities. We had Families for Families, which is a Christian foster organization that Brian Scoggins was running. Then we had a special charity that we did. Can't remember the last one, but we wrote out $87,000.
Wow.
Last year. And when I say like a special charity, we'll pick, a person in the community, or like year before last, maybe it was last year. Oh, and we do a scholarship now. So we do a scholarship for one of the guild girls who volunteers during the tournament. If they volunteered any hours during the tournament, then they can write an essay, and it's completely blind, and we get somebody to read them and score them and pick the winner.
Wow.
And so we give a $1,200 scholarship every year through the Guild Girls organization.
That's incredible.
Wow.
But getting back to the different charities, we're always looking for different charities. We vet them. We make sure that it falls in line with what we're trying to build. And we did Caitlin's Promise for a long time, and they started their own golf tournament. And we did the Potter's House. Got a really cool story with one of the girls there we can get into if we got time. But the goal is giving back.
Yeah.
And we can have as much fun as we want to do. But when we get to write the checks at the end of the day, even though, sometimes we want to kill each other during the planning of all
I'm
this.
sure.
That's the most gratifying thing to see.
What a blessing.
And we're just under $500,000 back in 9 years total.
That's incredible.
That's phenomenal.
It's been fun, and not to toot on horns or anything, but it's been a lot of work, but it's just so fun to be able to see the work and people have fun. That's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Is even though we get to write these checks and give back, to watch everybody in the community come together and have fun for 3 straight days, and to be able to bring your kids and your spouse and everything, and they're not getting yelled at for playing golf 2 days. They're coming along to the events. It always makes everything better.
That's right.
But it's been a fun ride, and we look forward to this year. We've got a bunch of new stuff coming this year that hopefully it plays out. We're getting into the grind. June is when we really start bearing down. We've started on the t-shirt designs and the swag designs, and trying to get tee gifts and everything going, but it's coming along. And the killer thing now is, for 3 years straight, we've had no openings for any new teams outside of a sponsor.
Wow.
That's incredible.
It is.
So,
but also that helps.
Yeah.
I mean,
it helps a lot. It helps a lot. So the scholarship, we had a female who I'd been in contact with and locked up when I was working narcotics. Interviewed her. She got in trouble again, back and forth. And basically she broke and then says, nobody likes me, I have no worth or whatever. So you got two kids, and this is not your life. So she ended up going to the Potter's House, which is one of our charities at that time, and went to the program, got kicked out, got locked up. She had one phone call, and she called me. And she said, I'm finally broken. Can I have a third chance? The cop in me was like, no, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm done.
Yeah.
But I said, I tell you what, let me call the Potter's House. You got to make your own bail, make your own bond, and you call me when you can leave jail. Day goes on, she calls me. Can somebody come pick me up? So they go, Potter's House goes and picks her up. She completes a 6-month program. She gets clean. She gets her kid back. She is now an assistant manager at a huge outfit and is still completely clean and still checks in with me to this day.
Wow.
In that year, we had a Keith Kinney, who passed away recently.
Mm-hmm.
She came up and told her story, which we have her come and tell the story to show that their money is actually being used for the good of the community and bringing people back and within the community. But Keith Kinney came up to us and said, I would like to give her a car so she can make it to work and pick up her kid. We gave her a car that year through Potter's House once she cleared everything, and she drove that car up until about 6 months ago. And that was like 2019, 20 maybe.
Wow.
That's good.
And then she gave the car to her daughter, and her daughter's still driving the car.
Awesome.
How about that?
But going back to the scholarship is in Keith Kinney's name just because he was a huge donor of the tournament.
Right.
And it was kind of the Keith Kinney Memorial Scholarship that we choose. And his wife, Kelly, reads the essays and picks the winner. It's been a fun, good time, and we're looking forward to this year.
We are too.
Yep. It's a good time.
We are too. We've been practicing a lot.
Good.
A lot.
I'm playing this weekend in the Irish City, and
oh, are you? We are too.
Yeah.
Who you playing with?
Blake Daniel. I hadn't played much here and there. 2 kids and multiple businesses will do that.
Yeah, for sure.
But get out there when we can, and
right
there you go,
and do the best we can. And
yeah,
I won't be in the first flight, but I'll give it a shot at the second flight.
So flights breakdown. What are y'all thinking with the 6 new teams? Like, are those like better teams, or are they?
So it's a mixture.
Okay.
I mean, some of them there are some new teams that are good.
Okay, so Drew Hickman won the city tournament last year with like a 60.
Yeah.
63.
Yeah.
Does he play in the Griffin Cup?
He does, and him and his partner have won it 3 times.
Okay.
I think it's 3, and maybe more than that.
Wow.
So Drew's good.
Drew's really good. Yeah. And his partner putts with a 1-iron. I don't know if you know that.
Really?
Serious? Yes. Lee goes putts with a 1-iron. Yeah.
I wonder how that came about.
I don't know. But that's all he putts with is
Does the ball take any lift when he?
I mean, sometimes it does, yeah. But he's deadly with it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible. It's so funny when you watch people golf and they do certain things.
Yeah.
You're like, what? What are you doing?
How did that even work?
Right.
Yeah. Well, the object is to get the ball in the hole, so it really doesn't matter if you use a pool stick.
Right.
Exactly. But the flights this year will have 80 teams, so we'll probably have 8 flights with 10 teams each, and we'll pay out 3 spots just because there's only 10 teams. But I tell you what, man, that's the biggest nightmare of the tournament.
Oh, I would want to do
Calcutta?
that.
Well, no, just the flighting, getting people where they need to be.
You have a lot of pencil whippers?
We used to, and now we've kind of fixed that pre-flighting it.
Okay.
So now when you get there Saturday, you're already in a flight. Now, the first couple of years, we flighted after the first round, and you would have some that would play decent, to get where they want to be, and then they shoot lights out, and we had a score maximum, and they would know what that was, and they're like, well, we got to bogey this hole or par this hole or start doing stuff like that, and we nixed that because, we give over, $11,000 in prize money, and that ain't even count like the players pool that goes on. It is the largest paying out tournament around the area. And when people start cheating that way, you start getting some tempers flare, and then everybody wants to get mad at the tournament staff and like, look, we're just here to put on an event and can't control people's morals.
Right.
Now, what about the boys who have never played in the tournament before? You have to get their handicap, or ask them for a handicap, or how?
I get a handicap. If they don't have one that's on gin, then I will ask them what their average score is, and then I'll ask their buddies that they may not know, and maybe ask them research. If they ever play with this person and what do they usually shoot. So I can kind of take all three, and me and 3 other guys sit down, and I have spreadsheets. I have every single score from the Griffin Cup that's ever happened on a spreadsheet. So every number in there, and then it's averaged out on a spreadsheet down, and then it just puts everybody,
And people don't really change teams.
No, some do, but it's rare. But if you're changing teams, it's probably somebody that has been in the tournament before, or and you can kind of say, all right, this is where they belong. Now, obviously, we get some of that stuff wrong sometimes, and it's a Griffin, Georgia charity golf tournament. We're not on the PGA,
right?
But we do the best we can. We're not out there trying to, screw anybody over or anything like that. We're going to put you where we think that we need to put you. And it's not just one person doing it. It's like 3 or 4 people in there in a room, and we spend 3 or 4 hours on this. So, I mean, it's worked out. We've known a couple teams like, hey, we probably missed this, but there's really nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
And you just have to go along with it and listen to the complaints and, just try to make them feel good and explain it and show it. And that's one thing I always tell everybody. Hey, if you don't believe me, I have a terabyte jump drive, and you're more than welcome to come look through it. I mean, I'm not trying to screw anybody over in this game. I want to be in the fight that I want to be in just as much as you do.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
Well, we're going to have to call this one off. It's done.
Oh,
it's
wow.
been
It's over already.
Pretty quick episode. We've got a little bit of editing to do, but we had Mr. Brett on, and we sure do appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thank you, man. Brett. I enjoyed it, and like what y'all are doing, and I've listened to some of the episodes and enjoy it, and happy to come back anytime.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Don't forget, if it makes you shake, don't wait, don't hesitate. Shoot that thing.